Excellencies, ministers from South Africa and South Sudan, our respective ambassadors, advisors and senior officials, members of the media. I'm reading this statement on behalf of President Ramaphosa of South Africa. President Ramaphosa is immensely grateful to his dear brother, President Salva Kiir Mayardit, for the warm welcome and hospitality extended to him and his delegation since their arrival here in Juba 2 days ago. His Excellency the President is visiting South Sudan to reaffirm the historic and fraternal bonds of friendship and solidarity between the peoples of both countries, which bonds were forged during our common struggle for independence and freedom. Since South Sudan became independent in 2011, our two countries have established strong bilateral cooperation on various sectoral issues for our mutual benefit. Our discussion over the last 2 days afforded us an opportunity to deepen and strengthen the partnership. The President states, we are here to express our support to the leadership and people of South Sudan on the ongoing efforts to consolidate peace, democracy and development at this critical moment of the country's history. The President commends the people of South Sudan for the historic agreement signed in 2018, which brought an end to a conflict which almost derailed the prospects of building a stable, peaceful, and prosperous country. It has been 5 years since that peace agreement was signed. They're encouraged by the progress achieved thus far. The ceasefire agreement is holding, and threats to the country's peace and stability have been reduced. We believe that the ongoing work in the establishment of the unified security forces for the country, with that the security situation will further improve. We welcome the reconstitution of key institutions such as the National Elections Commission, the Political Parties Council, and the National Constitution Review Commission. His Excellency President Ramaphosa sincerely thanks His Excellency President Salva Kiir, First Vice President Riek Machar, and other signatories to the revitalized agreement for their frank and comprehensive briefing on the implementation of the revitalized agreement. His Excellency is encouraged that the parties remain committed to the revitalized agreement as the most viable vehicle to address the root causes of the conflict and to build sustainable peace in South Sudan. President Ramaphosa also thanks regional organizations and the international community for their support to South Sudan. In this regard, He indicates he had engagements with the representatives of the reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, with IGAD, and the African Union mission in South Sudan. I appreciate the insightful assessments on the situation in the country. The people of South Sudan are eagerly waiting for the general elections, which will bring an end to the transitional period. These elections will be a watershed moment in this country's transition to democracy. President Ramaphosa understands that parties are engaged in a national dialogue in order to agree on the necessary conditions for the holding of credible elections. This will require addressing the outstanding provisions of the revitalized agreement, such as the adoption of the Constitution and security arrangements. Lasting peace, stability, and development will depend on how the collective leadership navigates the challenges ahead. The revitalized agreement is a very comprehensive commitment on how to take the country forward, and the parties to it must be applauded. Progress in the implementation of the provisions of the agreement is laudable, but it is clear more work is still outstanding. South Africa is deeply concerned about the ongoing conflict and humanitarian catastrophe in Sudan, which is also affecting other countries in the region, including South Sudan. We support IGAD and the African Union in their efforts and call upon them to intensify these efforts of finding resolution to the conflict in Sudan. South Africa will itself, in May this year, hold general elections to afford our people their democratic right to choose their leaders. We are pleased that the National Elections Commission of South Sudan will be one of the observer missions to our elections as part of the African Union Elections Observation Mission. In conclusion, as the President returns to South Africa, he is hopeful that the parties will continue to dialogue and find consensus on outstanding issues of the implementation of the revitalized agreement, so that the people of South Sudan can look forward to a peaceful and democratic end to the transitional period. On behalf of his government and the people of South Africa, President Ramaphosa reiterates his commitment and his country's commitment to support the South Sudanese as they go through the transitional period. He asserts that we will provide every support possible within our means to ensure a democratic and peaceful end to the transitional period. And he thanks you for the wonderful hospitality enjoyed in Juba. Minister?
Thank you very much.